Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. We're here at Google Earth looking at the tallest dam in the United States over here in California, and that would be the Oroville Dam. Seems like just yesterday I was sitting on the edge of my seat watching this reservoir get fuller and fuller as it looked like it was going to breach the top of the dam, reaching 900 feet, and that's full capacity. It could not have gotten any fuller without going over the top of the dam, and we thought everybody down here was going to get flooded. It was quite a chaotic scene there for a while. The spillway was damaged down here at the bottom. Everything's been fixed now and is working fine, with the exception of one thing. Now there's not enough water in here to even run the hydroelectric plant. It was shut down today for the first time ever since it started up. I want you guys to pay attention to these orange floating barricades that are floating in the water in this photo, and I'm not exactly sure the date of this photo. I want to say probably around 2015, 2014. Conditions look pretty normal over here at the time. Well, that's not the case today. As I mentioned earlier, Lake Oroville reaches all-time low. The hydroelectric plant shuts down for the first time ever. Here's a photo from about 3 weeks ago, and that would be in this area right here. This is what it looks like right now. It's almost completely dry. Unprecedented situation going on over there as the drought continues. They're calling it a mega drought over in California, and this is the situation. The Oroville hydroelectric plant has shut down for the first time ever. We're going to come back and take a closer look at that here in a moment. I want to show you guys some photos that came out of Greece. These were over at disclose.tv. Photos were taken by Satiri D over in Greece via Disclose TV, and this is a ominous looking scene as people were being evacuated from these hillsides over here, and they're out on a ferry on the water as the hillsides are going up in flames. This isn't the only place that's going up in flames. There are a lot of wildfires going on around planet Earth, and they're going on right now as I do this video. I'm well aware of it, and we're going to talk about that in an upcoming video. I received some video footage from Mary Hall today from the International Space Station, and you can see right where the space station was at over the west central part of the United States. Right up here is the map and the flight path of the space station. Down below is that exact area, and you can see it is loaded still today with wildfire smoke. This is over the western half of the United States. This is another one of many areas where wildfires have been burning pretty much all summer long, and this is why we're seeing these spectacular red sunsets. This photo was sent in from Wisconsin, looking to the west through all this smoke you see here from the International Space Station. Photo sent in by Vicky, taken by her daughter Ashley out of Wisconsin. And when you're looking at sunsets, predominantly the wildfire smoke is influencing this red color that we're seeing. If you're looking at sunrises and they're orange and red, that's a combination of both Sahara sand and wildfire smoke. But Mary has noticed some other locations around Earth from the International Space Station where wildfire smoke is visible from 250 miles above planet Earth. But now over here to the website, quick look at the Yellowstone seismos. And guys, I know I normally go to the Schumann resonance first. When you click on the Schumann, for some reason, there is no link to the Schumann resonance data. It's been like that now for 2 days in a row, and I have no idea why. So we're going to go right to the Yellowstone seismograph. You can see some earthquake activity here at Little West Thumb. That's right in the center of Yellowstone Lake where the swarm was about 3 weeks ago. For the most part, the swarm has ended, but there is still earthquake activity around the supervolcano caldera. The darker colors, the darker blue, typically indicate some sort of small magma intrusion. You got to keep in mind, though, this is a lot of activity over at a supervolcano. Got to keep that in mind. This is a supervolcano we're talking about. Looking at the Sahara sand situation over here at nullschool.net, you can see it's improved some, but there's another wave now that's just jumped off the west coast of Africa, and it's going to be making its way to the west, sweeping across the Atlantic Ocean once again with more sand from the western Sahara. Here's the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. They got 3 yellow X's on there, and that would be right in the middle of all that fresh sand that's just jumped off the west coast of Africa. They are predicting a very slight chance of formation as tropical cyclones are trying to do their job and move heat from the equator to the North Pole. It is summertime. These tropical cyclones are attempting to do their job. Do you know what their job is? They move heat away from the equator to the polar areas. That's what they do in the summertime in the southern hemisphere. They transfer heat from the equator to the South Pole. In the summertime in the northern hemisphere, they transfer heat from the equator to the North Pole. They are desperately trying to do that. You can see a 50% chance of forming in the next 5 days. Disturbance number 2 has a 20% chance of forming in the next 5 days, and disturbance number 3 has a 10% chance of forming in the next 5 days. I would say it's a 0% chance for all 3 of them, because they don't like this dust either. They stay completely away from it. But they are indeed trying to do their jobs, and their job is literally to move heat away from the equator naturally to the polar areas. Looking at the Earth-facing side of the sun, pretty quiet. No Earth-facing sunspots or active regions right now at the moment. Everything pretty quiet. Back to Lake Oroville. They've shut down the hydroelectric plant for the first time in history, and this is the reason why the power plant shut down. The water level right now as I do this video is at 640 feet. If it gets below 642 feet, there's not enough water to run the power plant. This blue area is today. This is where it's at right now. The red line is from 2019, and the blue line was from 2020. You can see how much it's dropped just in a couple of years. The water level has dropped that much in just 2 years. It's dropped so much that it cannot run the hydroelectric plant. Here's these orange barricades that I was showing you guys at the beginning of the video on Google Earth. You can see them here at this webcam, and this is over at the Oroville Dam. This is at the spillway, looking around in different directions. And there's that orange floating barricade that you saw at the beginning of the video right here on Google Earth. And that's around 875, about 900 feet from the spillway right back here. See all this orange? It's a floating barricade. They don't want boats coming up this close when the water's obviously up high enough for boats. And this is a floating barricade system. Yeah, there's some over here on land, but this used to be water too. That's why that is there. At the time, this was starting to get a little bit low, but nothing like you're about to see. And the rest of it was out here floating over the water. A little bit over here on land, but that too at one time was underwater. And the whole purpose of these things is to keep boats from getting too close to the spillway. So they put a floating barricade out there. But as you can see, it's no longer floating. It's sitting on dry ground. Unbelievable. This is a live webcam. This is right now as I do this video. Here's another view. You can see wildfire smoke in the air. It's just an ominous looking scene altogether. If we go over here to Zoom Earth and look at this same area, this is behind the spillway, right? Where we were just looking at on Google Earth. Remember, here's Google Earth. This is the area behind the spillway. There's the floating orange barricade. There's the spillway today. That's behind the spillway. Look, there's no water. And there's your orange floating barricade sitting on bone dry soil over there and over there. And it's no longer floating over water. All that water has retreated, no longer there. Look at that. Unbelievable scene. And remember, a little over 4 years ago, the water was up here near the top. Now it's way down, so low, there's not even enough water to run the hydroelectric plant. It has to go in there. There's another segment over here that's completely exposed. That's supposed to be underwater. It's not. So here's another look at the dry reservoir behind the Oroville Dam. And this is getting smaller and smaller for these boats and this little marina here. Look at that. Watch, I'll show you the same area on Google Earth. This is Zoom Earth. This is pretty much today or a couple of days ago. This canal right here used to be full of water. Look, it's bone dry. No water whatsoever, right? That is bone dry. There is no water in there whatsoever. We're going to go to that same area on Google Earth, which is right here. And you can see at the time of this photo, which was maybe 5 years ago, see, it's got plenty of water in it. Plenty of room for boats. A lot of water in there, right? Go back to Zoom Earth. No water. There's that same area right there. Bone dry. Right there it is. No wonder they had to shut off the power plant. There's no water over here anywhere. And this is shrinking what water is left. Look how small that is. Here it was just a few years back. Same area. There's the same boats, or probably a lot of the same boats. A lot of them, I'm sure, are gone. There's the same area. This is on Zoom Earth. You can see the water, what's left, has shrunk down to a bare minimum. There's hardly anything left. This has retreated like 900 feet over here. I measured it on Google Earth earlier. About a 900-foot difference there and here. About 900 feet difference. So it's slowly but surely drying up. It's just another sign of the times. I wanted to share that with you guys for the first time in history since its completion of the tallest dam in the United States. It was officially turned off today due to record low water levels over at the reservoir behind Oroville Dam. Just an unbelievable, unprecedented scene going on. Once again, it's just yet another sign of the times. Here's that orange barricade you can see sitting on dry ground. I took a screen grab of it there and here. That's supposed to be floating in water. That's actually what it was designed for. And there you see it sitting on dry ground. Unbelievable. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.